Welcome to the Explainer. The human breast is one of the most dynamic structures in the entire body. It changes so dramatically over a lifetime. So today, we're going to take a journey inward, exploring its incredible anatomy from the outside in to really get how it's built and how it all works. So let's kick things off with a simple question. Have you ever wondered what the breast is actually made of? How do all these different pieces fit together to do what they're designed to do? Let's break it all down. All right, here's our game plan for this explainer. We're going to start with the big picture, then look at the core building blocks of tissue. After that, we'll dive deep into the functional ductal system, see how doctors map this anatomy for our health, and then we'll wrap it all up by looking at how the breast evolves over a lifetime. Okay, first up, the big picture. Before we go digging inside, let's get our bearings with the external structure and see exactly where the breast sits on the chest wall. You can see right here how the breast sits right on top of those major chest muscles, the pectoralis and the serratus. And notice that general cone shape it has, starting from a wide base against the chest and kind of tapering forward to the nipple. So here's the thing. While every breast is different in its size and shape, they all share this basic blueprint. You've got that cone-like body, the nipple and the areola around it at the very tip, and, this is important, this little extension of tissue called the axillary tail that points up toward the armpit. Now remember that tail, because it's going to be really important later on. Okay, now let's look under the surface. The breast is basically made of two main types of tissue, and each one has a very different job. You've got the functional parts and then the supportive framework. So first, there's the glandular tissue. This is kind of the business end of the breast. It's the whole network of ducts and lobes that actually produce milk. Then you've got the stromal tissue. Think of it as the support system. It's made up of fat, which gives the breast its volume, and connective tissue, which, well, holds everything together. And these two mammogram images show that difference perfectly. I mean, look at that. The image on the left shows a dense breast, and it looks whiter because it's just packed with that glandular and connective tissue. But on the right, you see a less dense, fatty breast, which looks darker. This whole ratio of glandular to fatty tissue is what's known as breast density, and it's a super important factor in health screenings because dense tissue can sometimes make it a bit trickier to spot any abnormalities on a mammogram. Now, let's zoom in even closer on that functional glandular tissue. We're going to follow the path that milk takes through this absolutely incredible, intricate system. Just looking at this map, you can see how unbelievably complex the system really is. It's built around these large sections called lobes, and they're filled with even smaller lobules, all connected by this amazing web of ducts. This whole branching network is engineered for one specific purpose. So how many of these lobes are we talking about? Well, typically, each breast has somewhere between 15 and 20 of them, and they're arranged radially, almost like the petals of a flower, with everything pointing right toward the center, to the nipple. This system is essentially a one-way street. Production starts inside hundreds of these tiny little lobules. From there, the milk travels through a whole network of small ducts. These little ducts then merge into bigger and bigger channels, creating a direct path to exit right through the nipple. Now, understanding all this anatomy isn't just for fun. It has incredibly important real-world applications, especially when we start talking about health and medicine. Okay, this is a really, really important slide. It shows where breast cancers are most often found. And the statistic is just staggering. A full 50%, that's half of all cases, happen in just one single area, the upper outer quadrant. So to be super precise, clinicians map the breast by dividing it into 4 quadrants. This lets them pinpoint the exact location of anything they find. And as the data clearly shows, that upper outer quadrant is, by a huge margin, the most common place for cancers to develop. So here's the key takeaway. Why is this one quadrant so important? Well, remember that axillary tail we talked about earlier? It's located right in this quadrant, and it's absolutely packed with that functional glandular tissue. This anatomical fact is a huge reason why this area is so susceptible, which makes knowing this crucial for exams and self-checks. And finally, and this might just be the most fascinating part, breast anatomy isn't static. Not at all. It's constantly in motion. It's a dynamic structure that transforms dramatically over a person's lifetime, all in response to hormonal changes. This image just perfectly illustrates that lifelong evolution. I mean, we can see the breast go from its early adolescent form through the dense, functional tissue of the reproductive years, and then into the menopausal and senescence or aged stages, where its internal makeup has completely changed. The pattern of this transformation is crystal clear. It all starts in adolescence as the basic ductal structure forms. During the reproductive years, that glandular tissue is fully developed and active. Then through menopause, that functional tissue gradually gets replaced by fatty tissue, until finally, in the senescent stage, the breast is made up almost entirely of that fatty stromal tissue. So, what can we take away from this incredible and adaptive design? From its branching ducts all the way to its lifelong transformation, the breast isn't just a part of our anatomy. It's a truly dynamic system that reflects our life's journey. It's just a powerful reminder that the human body isn't some static machine, but a responsive,